The Medical Innovation Bill was tabled to Parliament earlier this year, and in it, it proposes the legalization of cannabis in South Africa for medical and other reasons. Now, I'm joined in studio by Below the Line's William Wallace to discuss why lobby groups in South Africa feel that this is real progress for South Africans. William, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, could you briefly talk us through what exactly is proposed in the Medical Innovation Bill?
All right. As we look at it now, the Medical Innovation Bill is literally a blank check. It's 4 pages of quite open legislation, but one thing that it's very specific about, and one of its early objectives, is to establish trial and medical grows in South Africa, where we can try and establish the local market, local demand, and local production of cannabis-related medicines for the public.
But of course, this doesn't just extend to medical intervention by using marijuana, but it also goes on to say that we could potentially use this for industry to bolster our economy even. Could you touch on that for us?
That's correct. We currently have hemp trial grows already going on in South Africa. We have seen successful results with the last grow. So we've identified that there's not just a market for medical marijuana per se in South Africa, but for all cannabis-related products, even if that extends to recreational cannabis.
Let's focus to start off with on medical marijuana, because of course the entire country is speaking about IFP MP Mario Ambrosini, who recently died, but he was the one who tabled this to Parliament, and he believed that terminally ill cancer survivors or anybody suffering from a terminal illness in South Africa should really be given the opportunity to use whatever means they feel would help them deal with their sickness. And in Ambrosini's case, that was marijuana. Am I correct?
That's correct. Mario Ambrosini did discover his cancer quite late on. He only became aware of it last year, so it was already very late stage lung cancer. But even so, he found that marijuana provided him with great relief, not just in the sense of a healing sense, but also living with the symptoms of his cancer and other medications that accompanied it.
So, William, I don't think the debate is so much about people who are suffering from terminal illness, because I'd hope that the reasonable South African would want to do everything possible to allow these people to live out their last days as they would. But I think the concern is coming through recreational use. A lot of people are calling cannabis, marijuana, a gateway drug, and are stressing that this isn't something that we want South African youth to get involved with. So how is legalizing this going to help that situation?
Well, we agree completely. Essentially, we do want to protect the youth. We've seen that in instances where we have seen decriminalization and even legalization of cannabis, that youth use has decreased dramatically. We've also seen that it's alleviated prison and police resources, and it's created a huge redistribution of tax dollars and tax rands towards alleviating youth suffering through awareness programs and addiction programs. But they found that there were more realistic approaches, and I think that a very negative consequence that we found with the prohibition of cannabis is that it's very propaganda driven, and in the 21st century, the youth are able to see for themselves that it's not everything it's made out to be that first time they have a smoke on a joint, but then they may make the same fatal assumptions of other drugs though. So we've definitely seen where countries have legalized or decriminalized vast decreases to almost half that of during prohibition.
So if this were to become a reality in South Africa, where one would be able to purchase cannabis legally, would there be an age restriction like we currently have with cigarettes or alcohol?
Personally, I believe, and I think I can speak very comfortably on Below the Line's half here when I say yes. If we look at the recreational use of cannabis, yes, we know that it's non-toxic. It's a lot safer than sugar, caffeine, alcohol, and nicotine, but it would still be used for intoxicant purposes. So I think we would reasonably need to look at a minimum age of, say, 18 or 21.